Hey guys, Desolator Magic here, and it's finally December 30th, so Wizards finally dumped on us, well, more than one spoiler per day for Theros Beyond Death. In fact, there's quite a few of them today. And some of them are crazier than unleashing an entire van full of lemurs inside of a Walmart. So let's start out with Treacherous Blessing. Now this is number 316 out of who knows, they don't feel like putting the number on these for some reason. I don't know if that's because the art appears to maybe be extended, or is it a Planeswalker card? I don't know. They went full Pokemon. You never go full Pokemon. 90 different versions of the damn card. Nobody knows where to get them, and nobody knows the rarity or the value. And then the numbers go over the limit. Yeah, that sounds real familiar. Anyway, so this is a 3-cost black enchantment. On the artwork, nobody really knows why they have King Midas using Force Lightning on Michael Jackson, but I'm sure that'll cause a licensing issue. But the card itself says when it enters the battlefield, draw 3 cards, so that's pretty absurd for 3 mana, but whenever you cast a spell, you lose 1 life, and whenever it becomes the target of a spell or ability, sack it. So we have actually seen this card before, but not this alternate art version of it. This was in the definite pack that definitely was at Walgreens, definitely in Kentucky. That's definitely what happened. So yeah, this card is completely insane, but I kind of like it. I do think it'll go in some kind of horrible, just horrific 3-color, probably black, white, blue, just deck from hell, so great. Next up, we've got Cling to Dust, a 1-cost instant. Kind of like the name, too. That just sounds awesome. So, exile target card from a graveyard. If it was a creature card, you gain 3 life. Otherwise, draw a card. And then escape 4. So you can exile 5 other cards from your graveyard, which it should be, because this card's insane. And then you may cast this again. This honestly just seems like a food token with more steps. I mean, it's a little different, but it's like you spend 1 mana to just draw a card. It's just a useless cantrip that does literally nothing. Or you can gain 3 life. So it does absolutely nothing or gains 3 life. Like I said, pretty much a food token. But I mean, if you want a life gain trigger, like I would absolutely put this card in black, white, Majani's Pridemate. I mean, it's in your opening hand, cool. Ditch it for 1, draw a new card. Otherwise, if you have something that can react to life gain, there you go. So next up, we've got Purphoros, Hound of Athreos, which obviously is the pet that was in Arena. I never bothered to look if in the store they actually gave him a name. I've just been calling him Tripupper. So this is a 3/3 for 3 legendary hound, and it has Vigilance, Menace, and Lifelink, which is fantastic. Another card that's just an automatic slot in for the black-white life you to death life triggers. Which at this point I think has about 100 cards in it, so have fun trying to trim that down. I mean, my deck as it sits is practically perfect, so this will be a little tough, but creature cards and graveyards can't enter the battlefield. Hallelujah! Another absolute shutdown card for an absolutely proven to be degenerate mechanic. I love this. Oh, and by the way, also, players can't cast spells from graveyards either. So basically, nothing can happen with your graveyard. Yeah, if you try to bring something back to life, no, he will bite your freaking nuts off. Oh, and in case you didn't put 2 and 2 together, he stops the new escape mechanic. This single-handedly shuts down the cat sacrifice food loop oven bullshit. This could end up being a very expensive card. If this isn't at a bare minimum in your sideboard in a black-white life gain deck, I don't even know what game you're playing anymore. Next up, we've got some guy named Herald. It's a 3/2 for 3 Shaman. He has haste, and when he enters the battlefield, return any number of aura cards from your graveyard to the battlefield attached to creatures you control. Exile those auras at the beginning of your next end step. Good, otherwise that would have been overpowered as hell. If those auras would leave the battlefield, exile them instead of putting them anywhere else. So you get 1 shot at this. Now, nothing wrong with this card, but it heavily implies that all-in, Super Blitz auras will be a thing, and oh boy, I have a feeling it'll be red-green, which already does not need help being degenerate. I don't like all-in glass cannon combos. I don't like, oh, well, all my auras died, oh, well, I lose, or haha, I beat you on turn 4 with 5 auras on 1 creature. We've had that in the past, so yeah, this guy just gives you a second shot at it, which is just annoying as hell. So that sucks, can't wait to see that deck. Next up, boy, they are laying all the cards on the table, figuratively and literally. We've got Purphoros, Bronze-Blooded. So this is a legendary enchantment creature god, of course. It's a 7/6 for 5, which is pretty wild, indestructible because of course, and as long as your devotion to red is less than 5, Purphoros isn't a creature. I've heard people stating that backwards for some reason. No, you get to a certain devotion level and then the god becomes a creature. That's how it always has been. Seriously, a bunch of people in my comment section on the last God card reveal was like, actually, it says when you don't get to it, it turns into... Read, idiot! Holy shit, it's not that hard of a sentence. So whether it's a creature or not, other creatures you control have haste, because that's what Purphoros does. In fact, I think his hammer did that last time as well. And if you pay 3, you may put a red creature card or an artifact creature card from your hand onto the battlefield, sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. You know, I was hoping they wouldn't reprint Whip of Erebos, but this is close enough. I already hate this card. Now, I will say, though, I mean, yeah, it's a 7/6 indestructible for 5. I mean, that's kind of nuts, but getting to 5 isn't the easiest thing in the world, at least in mono red. Well, people gonna be doing some crazy stuff with this guy as a commander, though, because you could just be like, oh, a red creature or an artifact creature at all ever printed in the history of the game. Yay, I love free casting, although you do get one shot at it, so I mean, that you sack it at the beginning of the next end step. There's probably all kinds of stuff you could do in a loop, though. Oh boy, now people running Fires of Evangel will be able to drop this in and completely bypass the 2-spell limit per turn. Wonderful. Just kidding, the card is going to be banned before this set even comes out. Hey Wizards, maybe you should light some Fires of Inventions and use it to invent better R&D playtesting staff. You know, or just print out on a poster and stick it up all around your office. No free casting. No more free casting allowed on any card ever. Ever again. Never. Next up, we've got Ox of, I'll say, Agonas. I don't know. I don't speak Greek. So it's a 4/2 for 5 Ox, 2 Devotion, and when it enters the battlefield, discard your hand, then draw 3 cards. So in other words, draw 3 cards, and then escape 2, but you have to exile 8 other cards from your graveyard. I feel like this slots into a very, very specific type of deck, and it's one that I don't like. It's basically Red Burn, or Super Blitz, or Super Boost. You know, you just dump creatures, suicide into play, sure strike, trample, boost, whatever, and then if it all dies, cool, cast the Ox. Oh, by the way, Ox of Agonas, or whatever, escapes with a 1/1 counter on it. Oh boy. So yeah, he just refills your hand and then is a body on the battlefield. I mean, it's not that special. I think we found the garbage red mythic that's in every single set. It's a tradition at this point that they put a garbage red mythic in every single product. Next up, we got Brine Giant, kind of interesting card here. It's a 5/6 for 7, but it costs 1 less to cast for each enchantment you control. If this said instant or sorcery in your graveyard, I would be flipping my desk over right now, so thankfully they went with that instead. So this 5/6 blue creature could actually cost 1 mana, which is pretty insane, but if you had 6 enchantments in play, you probably were going to win anyway, so like that's kind of your opponent's fault at that point. I think it's an interesting card, and I think for like draft and sealed especially, you're just going to get a little bit of a discount on this guy, and it's going to go a long way. Next up, everybody started twitching when they heard the word Lotus, because Lotus, Black Lotus, money, good card. Yeah, calm your tits, okay? Gilded Lotus is $5. Oh, Lotus Blossom is $3, Lotus Bloom is $8. Oh, and Lotus Field is even only $7. So this time around, what does this not Black Lotus do? Well, you drop it in for 4, it's a legendary artifact, which is nice, and it enters battlefield tapped, and then you can tap it and choose a color, add an amount of mana of that color equal to your devotion to that color. So this is Nykthos Shrine to Nyx 2.0. So with that one, you drop it in for free, and because it's a land, and you can pay 2 to activate this exact ability, but you're down 2, and then you gain mana from there. This, when you pay up front and you can't use it the turn it comes out, and also it's a little bit more exposed being an artifact as opposed to a land, it can easily be exiled or destroyed, but anytime you want to activate it, you don't have to pay anything. So you don't have to dig yourself out of a 2-mana hole. So if you manage to resolve this and keep it in play for like 1 turn, you can really blast your opponent with some crazy mana stuff. So high risk, high reward. I would prefer to play Nykthos Shrine to Nyx just to be safe. Also, you could do the double Nykthos trick where you tap 1, drop a second one in, legendary rule the second one as the keeper, and then activate it again using the mana from the last one. Can't do that with this one unless you can untap it. Speaking of that, there are multiple ways to untap this multiple times outside of standard. I don't know if anything would be infinite. Even Isochron with Twiddle, you wouldn't be able to untap Isochron, but I feel like my modern deck Tap Dance would be able to do this somehow. You know, because it already does, literally this. It actually uses Karametra's Acolyte and Nykthos Shrine to Nyx, so why wouldn't I throw this in? So yeah, people are going to be doing some crazy stuff with this. Next up, a reprint of Field of Ruin for some reason. So taps for colorless, hooray, and if you pay 2 and sack it, so in other words pay 3, destroy target non-basic land an opponent controls. Each player searches their library for a basic land card, puts it onto the battlefield, then shuffles their library. So if they've got some degenerate land that does something important, like Nykthos Shrine to Nyx, I'm still confident that they might reprint it. Boom, it's gone, but then they get a basic land in its place. I never really did like this card, and all it did was stop Field of the Dead, so like, who cares? Whatever, spell lands are annoying. So next up, we've got another god card, Erebos Bleak-Hearted. So this is a 5/6 indestructible for 4, much more reasonable casting cost here. I believe that's the Whip of Erebos in his hand. That can't go well. I haven't read this yet, by the way. As long as your devotion to black is less than 5, that's not much. Erebos isn't a creature. So the casting cost and the devotion requirement are both much lower than anything we've seen so far, and we already have Gray Merchant, so I think we can tell pretty easily which one's going to be the devotion color. And then whenever another creature you control dies, you may pay 2 life, and if you do, draw a card. So it's Midnight Reaper, but finally with the word may added. It's about damn time. And if you pay 2 and sacrifice another creature, in which case a creature would die, and you may pay 2 life and draw a card, target creature gets -2, -1 until end of turn. So this is like the king of death trigger decks. It's not quite a free unlimited sack outlet, but it's pretty damn close. I mean, it's just 2 mana, no tap. So that's pretty messed up that you can just go, oh yeah, kill this, kill this, kill this. Oh, and by the way, kill 3 of my opponent's creatures too. Oh, and would you look at that? I draw 3 cards, throw them all in, If it's a self-resurrecting creature or whatever, or the creature itself has a death trigger, it's, this mixed with Afterlife is going to be pretty messed up. I'm calling it right now. It doesn't scream overpowered, it just screams powerful, but I don't like any of these god cards because something that big with Indestructible is just annoying. So his ability is kind of borderline, but we all know that if you're not running Exile, you're not winning. So he's just going to hit the field and be exiled immediately. Next up, we got the Scry Temples. They're back. Yay. Hey, whatever makes them cheaper. And honestly, they're from Theros, so it's nice to see them with Theros artwork. Next up, Underworld Breach. This is another higher than normal number card. So, what does that mean? Could mean anything. Clearly, it's some kind of, extended, borderless, promo stretched alternate. Who even knows at this point? Interesting name and art though, kind of makes you wonder about the story, but they're probably going to sell it in a book anyway. So it's a 2-cost red enchantment, it's a rare, and each non-land card in your graveyard has escape. Oh wow, the escape cost is equal to the card's mana cost plus exile 3. So I mean, you're going to run out of ways to escape pretty quick here. Then at the beginning of the end step, sacrifice Underworld Breach. Oh, I guess the people of Theros patched that one up real quick. What should we do about this breach here? I don't know. Let's just dump garbage into it. There we go. It's plugged up. I think that'll hold there, Jim. Let's just pave over it. So you pay 2 to have the opportunity to pay a mana cost equivalent to the original mana cost, while also nuking every card in your graveyard to also pay for it to cast a couple cards maybe again. Once again, I mean, the red-green Gruul heavy Riot deck that appears to be forming seems to benefit from this, but it's a little narrow. And honestly, that deck, just because it shares green, it doesn't really ramp mana that much. So this would be a wonderful card for Simic, because they have 20 mana, but I don't know. I mean, maybe with the Lotus and mono red and devotion, this counts for 1. You might be able to get something done with that. It's kind of all in, and it's worthless in your opening hand, though, so I don't know how useful this could really be. But who knows, some massively degenerate thing involving, enter the battlefield effects could be done with this, and we'll see. Next up, we got some creepy looking thing called a Woe Strider. You really didn't need to tell me it's a horror, I knew that from the artwork. It's a 3/2 for 3, another rare, and when it enters the battlefield, create a 0/1 white goat creature token. Of course. And then sacrifice another creature is one of its abilities, by the way, Scry 1. Oh, an unlimited sack outlet. That is bad. You guys don't even know how bad that could get. And it only costs 3. And you're obviously doing graveyard stuff with the deck that needs unlimited creature sacking. And also it has escape 5 with Exile 4. So, ooh, this could get really bad. Oh, and if you bring it back from the Underworld, guess what? Gets 2/2 bigger. Yeah, I feel like this card is going to be a very, very big problem. This mixed with the God card mixed with death triggers that already exist in the game, oh boy. It's going to be one of those, everything dies, I don't care if you're killing it, board wipe me all you want, I don't care, draw my whole deck in 50 devotion to black kind of things, and then just kill them with Grey Merchant. I mean, the deck's already in my head, basically. So next up, we've got Nylea, Dogly, Oki, what the hell does that say? Well, big plot reveal, Nylea is Italian. So that translates to something like Nylea that has really acute vision. So in other words, Nylea sharp-eyed is what they're going with. So it's another 5/6 for 4 indestructible god, wonderful. And as long as your devotion to green is less than 5, really, you think it's really ever going to be less than 5? Nylea sharp-eyed is not a creature. And then no matter what creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Oh boy. That feeds directly into the devotion, so yeah, you're going to be dealing with a 5/6 indestructible card. Uh-oh. And if you pay 3, you can reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, put it into your hand, otherwise you may put it into your graveyard. I do like that they said may. So it's sort of implied, but yes, you could just place it right back on top of your library. So, I mean, that's a gamble. I mean, 1 in 3 cards in your deck should be land anyway, so there's an automatic whiff. So yeah, in any kind of like mono green typical giant creatures, let's make them big and trample past them steamroller deck, you'd want to play this. And by the way, that is a graveyard feeding ability on the bottom there, I should mention that. So for the black-green decks where they do some kind of resurrection things with kicking creatures out of the graveyard and stuff, you could feed your graveyard, but it is mandatory that if it's a creature card, you put it in your hand. So you can't stuff your graveyard full of creatures, but you could stuff it full of cards, which would be nice for escape, I guess. But other than that, yeah, if it's a creature, you just keep the train rolling, basically. You just, draw creatures, cast it, draw it, cast it, draw it, cast it. Especially when creatures cost 1 less. So this is one of the fairer gods. I mean, the abilities are just whatever. Okay, cost 4, it's legendary, it's mythic, that's pretty typical. But what I don't like is a 5/6 indestructible creature. It's just like last time, everybody just inherently hates the god cards because they're so stupidly obnoxious to deal with. So run exiling or you lose. This is your last warning. Just kidding, I'm going to say it every video. And have you noticed that all the gods, I think, so far have a toughness higher than their attacks? So if you get one out and your opponent gets one out, you just get to sit there and stare at each other and do nothing? Well, at least as far as combat goes. I mean, obviously all the gods do something. Next up, we have a dreadfully worded card, Thirst for Meaning. It's a 3-cost instant, draw 3 cards, then discard 2 cards, unless you discard an enchantment card. Or as I like to call it, then discard 2 cards, or 1 enchantment card. I mean, that's just a little bit more clear about what you can do and what the options are. It's not that hard to figure out, it's just I think that's kind of awkward. So, I mean, you might net 2 for 3, which is pretty good, but the highest ratio of card draw to mana really ever within reason should be 1.5 to 1, as far as 1.5 mana for every card drawn. And this, under the best circumstances, does not exceed that, but you're effectively looking at the top 3 cards of your library. So you can keep the best of, so this is kind of like a free, I can't really say anticipate, I don't know, like Brainstorm Ponder, one of those, I don't remember. And a bunch of the cards like that in that family were banned from multiple formats for being too good, too consistent. You could get combos off too well. So I don't like this. And with very good history and very good reason behind not liking it. It's not just a feeling. I love how the card's flavor text is a sip of recollection, an ocean of regrets. Yes, whoever printed this is deeply going to regret it. When people just use this to go get their stupid shutdown degenerate shit combo. Oh boy. Yeah, you're going to regret it. And finally, for the last card, we have whatever the hell this says. So thanks for watching. Okay, fine. I guess I'll translate it. Yep, me. I'm totally translating this on the fly. It's definitely all me. Wrath of the Storm, or Wrath of Storm, I don't know. Sorry, my whatever language this is a little rusty. This is a 4-red sorcery, and Wrath of Storm, or maybe it's plural, I don't know. With Asian languages, it's actually really hard to tell. It deals 4 damage to each creature and each planeswalker. I hate this. I hate everything about this. People hated Anger of the Gods, and that was 3 damage. And this includes planeswalkers. This never should have been printed. This basically ruins the entire game. What a wonderful card to end on. So, f this card and f Standard. Thanks, Wizards. You ruined it for everybody. F you. So, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more spoilers. Are going to be absolutely dumping out over the next couple days, and I will see you guys next video.